Welcome to Morning Motivation for the Fit Mind. This is a podcast with daily mantras and affirmations recorded for you to repeat and empower yourself. If thoughts become things, then your thoughts are the key to changing anything in your life. I'm your host, Ebony W., and you can find me on Instagram at fit.ebony, FITT.EBONI, or on my very own fitness app, the Fit app with 2 T's, FITT. Available for download in iOS and Play stores everywhere. Thank you for joining me today. My hope is that you listen and repeat each mantra before you start your day. It is widely believed that when you begin your day with affirmations, you train your subconscious to see reality differently. And by changing your pattern of thinking, you can ultimately change your life. This is Morning Motivation for the Fit Mind.
This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
Good morning, family. Welcome to Morning Motivation for the Fit Mind. Today's episode is a little bit different. I wanted to give you some background on me, just share my story. I've never truly shared my story outside of my inner circle and my therapist, of course. So I just want to take some time today just to share it, and hopefully it inspires you on your journey to continue pushing, continue going, and I hope that you truly understand and know that if you still have breath in your body, that is not the end of your story, and you still have time to change your life. From the beginning of mine, my life has been pretty tough. I've had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own. Extremely very long story short, I was adopted at 3. My sisters and I were abused by our stepmother, who still to this day denies all harm done. According to her, she was the perfect mother. I forgave her years ago for all the things she's done to my sisters and me. But forgiveness does not equal accepting her back in my life. It's been over a year plus since we've last spoke. And the peace you get from healing and isolation, I promise it's immeasurable. I got pregnant at 17, and I was labeled as the black sheep of the family. When you're groomed to be the family genius, and then you all of a sudden turn around and you're now the teenage pregnant chick, yeah, life changes fast. I ventured out on my own, and I had to figure this thing out. I was an 18-year-old single mother. I had my baby girl 3 weeks after my 18th birthday, and I had no family to turn to. I made a ton, and I want to emphasize a ton, of impulsive decisions that landed me in some hot water. I mean, it was quite hot. But I knew I couldn't make too many mistakes because I had a little one to care for. I still was a mother at the end of the day. I was a teenager still, but I was a mother. That's one hell of a responsibility. Eventually, I worked things out with her dad, but he was abusive. We got back together, and it was an abusive roller coaster for 10 years. I wasn't allowed to leave the house unless it was for work or unless I had my daughter with me. He constantly talked down on me because of my weight gain during the pregnancy. I was very, very, very tiny before pregnancy, and then I got pregnant. You know, you gain weight. But he didn't like it, and he made sure that there were so few pictures of me during the pregnancy. He would literally stop people from taking a picture of me, and he would say, she doesn't want pictures right now. She don't want to be reminded of how big she's gotten. And now, 13 years later, I look back looking for pictures of me being pregnant, and I have none. He would say that I would be embarrassed. And he had so much control over my appearance, my looks, my locations. I wasn't allowed to make drastic changes to my hair without his approval. So I embraced wearing wigs. Funny enough, I was the breadwinner of the family, though, because we were putting him through school. But somehow he still convinced me to quit my job. It was a really great paying sales job to stay at home with our daughter. That took him from being in control of my looks and being in control of me to then being also in control of our finances too. So to gain back some type of control over my life, I started working out with my daughter at the parks. And I started just doing any and everything I could think of just to feel like I had some type of control over myself. Eventually, me working out inspired other people. Other moms would see me at the park. People would see me on social media, and they would ask if I could help them. One person turned into a client, and it turned into another client, and so on and so forth. And by the time I looked up, I had a full-time hobby. I gotta say it's a hobby, y'all, because it wasn't a job at first. But I had a full-time hobby. It paid me some coins and it allowed me to be out the house more consistently. I started gaining some notoriety and popularity online and in the fitness field. But the more popular I would get online and the more popular I would be known in the fitness arena, the more the mental and the financial and just the abuse alone, they just got worse at home. Then one day I found out he was cheating on me with his classmates and his coworkers. He blamed me for cheating on me for years. And like a normal abused person, I believed him. I believed that the cheating was all my fault. So I stayed 10 years, and I do mean 10, of steady, constant cheating and abuse. In the span of a decade, he admitted to me that he had been with over 20 different women countless times. Here I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Personal training was my hobby. When I say a hobby, it's because I barely netted $10,000 a year doing it. I was exhausting myself out from training people, from group classes, from one-on-ones, raising my daughter predominantly by myself in the same house with my narcissistic, cheating, abusing husband. Did my best to protect her and keep up appearances for my growing brand and presence, but it wasn't enough. I tried leaving so many times, but I had no resources, no friends, no families, no one to turn to for help, so I kept going back. Eventually, a mentor came into my life, sat me down, and showed me how to gain financial freedom through my training, through my coaching, and through helping other people overcome their own struggles. He showed me how to monetize my talents and passions, and then started suggesting books to expand my thinking. He and I eventually parted ways, and I found a therapist shortly after. As I began getting back on my feet for the first time since I was 18 and I left my childhood home, I discovered the power of affirmations. I discovered manifesting my own desires in life. And I realized that my limited thinking and my low self-worth, those were the biggest prisons that I was in, and I put myself in them. I believed every negative thing that people told me about myself. I didn't have my own voice to tell me that those were lies. I was popular and profitable online, but I had no self-esteem and no measurement of my self-worth. I mean, how could I? I went from my stepmom's abuse to my husband's. It was a cycle for over 28 years that I was just learning to break. My freedom and reclaiming of power started and ended with me. I learned that if I wanted better for myself, I had to stop viewing myself as the victim. I had to understand and realize that I survived. I survived in many places others could not. But not only did I survive, my light was still shining. I was still helping people, even in my dark times. And the trauma didn't dim my light. In fact, it made it brighter. It made me stronger. So I started a fitness app. It helps me grow my list of clients more efficiently. I am now able to provide one-on-one training to hundreds of people worldwide, no matter the goal. I can be in the living room, gym, or office with each individual person and push them towards being their best. If you haven't done so far, go check out my app. Go to the fit FITT team team.com. Click on the Fit app from the menu, take the online consultation, and select a program. Use the code I'm ready at checkout to try out any program for $5 for the first month. You can schedule one-on-one Zoom calls with me for help, reach me in the chat, or just follow along at your own pace. Each workout has a daily affirmation written within, so whether you tune in each morning to this podcast or not, you're still able to receive words that promote inner strength and healing. I just wanted to share a little bit about my background and some of the things that I've had to overcome to survive. The past 28 years were very hard, but the most recent 3-4 years of healing, it's been even harder because I've had to relive each moment over and over again until I found the lesson within. I had to learn to stop the negative self-speak and replace it with positive self-speak. I had to learn to start believing in myself and my power and my own abilities. I had to start believing in me. I had to start believing what my clients saw in me. I never could understand why they trusted me to help them reach their goals when my life was a living nightmare. But then I realized it was because even in my darkness, I still had enough light to shine on others and help them find the light themselves. So, as we kick off the next 30 days of affirmations and daily mantras, I want you to remember that you can overcome it. Whether it's 28 years of trauma like me, or it's a completely different life obstacle, this is your life to live. Your experience, it is your life for you to grow through. You're not obligated to be anyone's doormat. You are not required to take anyone's level of abuse and BS. Day by day, push for life to be different. Push for your change, and above all else, shift your perspective. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. I'll dive deeper as I continue to unwind and unravel and be more comfortable sharing the ins and outs and the details. But this was a huge step for me today, family, and I thank you so much for listening. Remember to drink your water throughout your day and never forget that you got this.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
This has been Morning Motivation for the Fit Mind by Ebony W. Join the Fit family by subscribing to my podcast, downloading the Fit app, or donating by clicking the support link in the description. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. And if so, share this with anyone you might feel may need to hear or repeat these words as well. And also, please leave a positive review.